Hello everyone! My name is Imu, I'm ReacttotheK's channel creator.
I am Sean, ReacttotheK's channel arranger and host of Classical Composer Breaks Down the K.
And I'm super ready to react to Irene and Seulgi's Monster mini album.
And when I've already reacted to Seulgi's Monster, and that reaction is up on the channel.
I've heard a tiny bit of every song, and yeah, I just can't wait. It just sounds like velvety goodness. And the first song, Diamond, I understand is co-written by Andreas Oberg, who is a Swedish jazz guitarist who used to tour as a jazz soloist. And he then transitioned to writing Swedish pop music and K-pop and J-pop. So if you ever hear a jazz guitar and a SM entertainment song, that's probably Andreas playing. Let's start off with Diamond! 3, 2, 1. Wow.
I like the metallic plucked sound.
Good chords. The line, the way they're singing, almost like low-key sounds of scatting. No! We moved somewhere. And there's Andreas. We've got some like gentle funky guitar pan to the left, and then we've got the improv guitar part pan to the right. Ooh, that was a really fast end to the phrase, because ooh, the rhythm in the vocal line keeps changing.
Nice, adding in vocal harmonies. I was wondering when they were going to do that, because they didn't do that, hadn't done that much so far. Like, they'd have both voices singing and like taking advantage of the stereo of that.
There we go. That's the EXO wait pre-chorus change. We have a very quiet octave above the main line. In that range. Oh yeah, you go, Andreas! We're continuing the syncopated. Oh, it's changing. Yep, hold on to it. Rest.
Like that little last note in the guitar after the rest of the chord. Okay. Little plucks from the beginning. Yeah, nice adding the double vocals, but then also the harmonies around them.
Wow. And we had the woo 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 at the very end. Yeah, that's Velvet for you, right?
Yeah, that was really nice. A bit like kind of the same couple of textures the whole time, but really well harmonized, so it didn't seem bland.
There are some K-pop songwriters that love certain melodic motion and harmonic motion, and something that you know is Andreas's is one of his favorite sections is to compose the pre-chorus. So this is what Diamond sounds in the pre-chorus. It's just a harmonic shift up, right? Okay, moving on to Feel Good.
Composed by Moonshine, Tanya Doko, Maribel, and lyrics by Isuran. 1, 2, 5.
Oh. Almost tetrachord. Oh my god. These lyrics. I want to hurt you. My heart gets more twisted. Ooh.
Yeah, that does make that harmony filling in really nice.
Then we got the subdivisions. Oh, I love the vocal melody.
Yeah, it's a nice shift into that upper register. Okay, interesting. Same bass line as before, but much more filled out, of course. Yeah, they're using that very soft riser a lot.
Oh, I like the muffled percussion. These lyrics are so intense. It helps really carry the vibe.
Yeah, I like how smooth that transition into the pre-chorus is. Like, it builds up and then it just sort of spreads out. Like, it doesn't land hard, but it does have a really dramatic shift in texture. I feel like there either is a growlier bass added this time or it's louder than last time.
Brown, 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 and it goes wab, 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 wab. No, wab, 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 wab. Oh, is it time of melting? Woo! Bring it back one more time.
Okay, yeah, I guess that was sort of back to the first verse texture and then bringing the rest back in.
Yeah, the bass part is nice. Ba 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 ba. Using the quicker notes to transition to the next time it loops around. Ooh, that bass sound has a lot of layers. Moonshine, I see you. Let's go back to the very end. Is that layered with like an acoustic stand-up bass? It sounds like a synth layered with that to create like the extra scratchy, dark sounding timbre. That very last note, it sounds as if it was like a low note on a... I'm not sure if a cello can hit that low. Maybe a cello can hit that low. Or acoustic stand-up bass.
I was not expecting the more growly bass to come back at the end. I would have expected that more in the little dum 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 timbre, just like dum 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 dum. Yeah, I don't know if that's a hint at that it's going to go someplace a little bit more or less gentle next track, or if that was just giving a little surprise at the end.
Man, that was nice. That was smooth. That was just like, that's like iconically Red Velvet, in my opinion. Okay, songwriters for Jelly are Ming Chi Chung.
5 minutes later.
Xiang. Min Chi Chung. And Du Ryu. Oh, is that Andrew Choi? I think that's Andrew Choi. Kim someone.
임지션, 앤드류 최, 김현서.
Meanwhile,
Now we're listening to Jelly by Min Ji-hyun and Ryutai Kim Yeon-seo, and then Min Ji-hyun also arranged it.
Okay, jelly, jelly, jelly. This sounds like it could go like red, like jelly. Or maybe this is like jelly, you know. 3, 2,
I like how they stuck a little pitch wobble on that. Is that supposed to be like jelly wobbling? I guess that would be gelatin, not jelly more.
Oh, I love the piano progression. There's a lot of chord changes. I love the very distant sound in the background. It's gone now. Adding in lower progression. Okay, continuing a lot of the same instrumental, but we're adding in strings. I can't tell what instrument they are. Whoa, the instrumental was trippy at that part. My brain was so confused for a second. We'll go back to that part. What just happened? Is that frustration? I mean, I can relate.
Was someone doing a monster growl there?
Yeah, then we have some pizzicato string. Maybe I was hallucinating. They might have added strings at this part. The bass part.
I was not expecting a trumpet line. Yeah, I think this, like a little chromatic da 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 at the end of there. Okay, I'm glad that that's staying around for the bridge, because it's a good line. They've edited the attacks to make them a little more punchy, but I think those probably are from real trumpets.
A little fall at the end.
There also may have been a guitar in there. Actually, maybe that's how they were getting the clear attack, is maybe they had an electric guitar and the trumpets in unison, so the electric guitar hits the front of the note, and you hear that as the clear attack, and then the trumpet's more of the body, because the guitar's going to decay away more. That may be how they did it, but also a good chance of some electronic editing afterwards to enhance the parts that they wanted to.
Yo, okay, I'm sorry. After that first chorus, all I did was just try to pay attention to the instrumental, because something my brain just malfunctioned in the middle of the first chorus, and I was like, why did it just malfunction? And then I was trying to figure out why I was malfunctioning the entire time, and so I just became super engrossed in the bass part. That bass part moved like it was its own animal. It was syncopated, so it wasn't a loop that I could catch on too quickly to, and the notes were just changing so fast. It was like do 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 dee do do, and it wasn't repeating, right? It just kept developing. Do da da do do da da dee do. So on top of that really fast-moving bass line, we also had strings that had that kind of motion too, where it was like and it wasn't lining up with the bass part. So I was like, what is happening? because we had so many different rhythmic lines move at different times, even though they're like in the same or similar rhythm. So it's just like, so my brain was like trying to grasp onto that. But like the vocals were layered really well, the percussion was fun, and I'm ready to move on to Uncover, Seulgi's solo, in which she performed a little bit at their La Rouge concert, right?
By Hong Yo-sep, Shim Dae-won, and Kim Yeon-so. 3, 2. No, wait, that's not how we count down this. It doesn't work when I count it down that way. 1, 2, 5. Nice. Just piano, middle, cloud. Cloud in the middle of the piano sound. Also, could have just reversed a bunch of pianos and then overlapped them. This is a really nice texture. I'm a sucker for reverse piano, though. Like, ever since the Felt, I've really liked that sort of sound.
Woo! Chords! Is this gonna be... There's a lot of English. So many goosebumps! And now we groove in. Oh, yeah!
The production on this is really good. Like, all the percussion sounds are super clear. It's sort of... It's pointillistic, like, there aren't that many... There aren't a lot of sounds happening at once, but each one's really finely crafted. Also, a lot of things very wet, as in reverby, not as in like watery sounds.
Oh, it's changing. But the percussion hits are so spread out. And now it's hitting on 2 and 4 with some cymbal. Oh. And there's a beautiful octave above the vocal line too. Now it's just by her singing by herself. So much reverb. That was a cool instrumental transition. Are we gonna get those chime as wooden chimes back in? That sounded like a sax trill. Now we're subdividing and going at a faster tempo than ever before, just because we have a lot more percussion hitting faster rhythms. But we can still feel if we want. The affected voice. Wow. Whoa! That's a song to close your eyes and just imagine you're in a different world and just let everything soak in. That was like super calming and easy to listen to, but it also had so many details in the production. Like, there were several times that something would come in and it would only appear like 2 more times in the track after that. And so the instrumental is like constantly changing, but it isn't that obvious because it just fits into the texture so well.
Okay, yeah, so what I was saying is they tend to kind of fill out the sound spectrum a lot. when I say sound spectrum, I'm talking about the range of sounds that humans can hear, which is about 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And so with a lot of pop, in just generally with a lot of music, they tend to kind of have something that's using a large range of that in not exactly equal, but fairly filled out across that, except the very small extremes at either side. And so if you have just a single sound, and that, with the exception of something that's just like a noise burst across the spectrum, if it's not... like, even if it's really well produced, it's going to tend to kind of sit in one or a smaller amount of areas. But if you add reverb, it tends to kind of fill out the sound spectrum around a sound. Like, it's not just sustaining the exact frequencies that we're sounding, but it kind of makes this cloud around them. So if something happens and then it stops, but there's reverb of it, it's filling out part of the sound spectrum. And then if something else happens and there's reverb around it, it's filling out part of the sound spectrum. And so you can have this texture where it's just like one or two things happening at a time, but the reverb tails of a lot of other things are still carrying on. So it's not just little things popping up, but an empty spectrum. It's still kind of filled out, and then little things popping up within that. So I think that's probably some of why they chose such a heavily reverb sound on that. And then, as I mentioned, like later on in the song, it starts like they started really filling in a thicker texture and having several sounds going on at a time, not just one or two. But that was kind of after you'd gotten to examine each one, mostly in isolation, with just this sort of aura around it from all the reverb.
Do you want to just go song by song, or do you just have like a general summary?
Yeah, we should do
thoughts?
Song by song, because otherwise I'm gonna just forget about one of them at some point. I thought Diamond was a just really nice Velvet style song. What I think of with Velvet, where it's like it's kind of the same textures a lot throughout, but really nice harmonies.
Oh yeah, like that pre-chorus, I was like, "Hello, Andreas," because he uses it was just secondary dominant, the flat 7 to 7, the vocal melody right before we go to the chorus.
I couldn't figure out.
Wait, was it in C?
I believe it was in F, but I couldn't figure out what the chords were. While I was waiting for you to say you were ready, I went back to see whether I could get what the chords were on a second listen, but it was like, no, I'm not. It's too advanced for me to just pick it up. It's too advanced for me to pick it up quickly.
But yeah, summary for the first song. Good harmonic motion, chords that have suspensions and extensions that we can't quite figure out because neither of us took jazz theory in college. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful vocal parts with that just like overall, like you said, is very recognizably and iconically Velvet.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Feel Good. Let me just refresh my memory. This is the Moonshine one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that comes out like the production's a lot more contrasted. Like this one, the first one was very much like kind of the same textures but fancy harmonies. This one's a little bit sort of ties a lot of things together because that's the verses and the chorus, but there are a lot of different things happening with what's surrounding it. Like at the beginning it's super sparse, but then like in the choruses it's the same, like it has I think a lot of the same elements from the verses, but then a lot more added in.
Yeah. And also did you read the lyrics at all? Because they were intense. It was really, really haunting. And so I think the descending chromatic line, it invokes a descending tetrachord, which is just like a specific pattern of 4 notes descending. Or, I mean, there can be an ascending tetrachords too, but descending I feel like are the more common.
Yeah, well, I had not looked at the lyrics. This song did not sound like really sinister.
But once you read the lyrics while listening to it, it all makes sense.
Okay.
Because it's like covered up sinister. It's like you're really controlled on the surface, but like inside things are going on in your head, right?
Okay.
Okay, next song, Jelly. So something about the chorus made it feel super trippy for me. Did you feel like you were tripping out in the chorus? So, or like your brain was like, what's happening? Not harmonically. It's the different, listen to the instrumental. It's all about the instrumental. The bass and string and all the other rhythmic things. Because the bass and the upper da syncopated line don't line up at all. So I felt like I kind of had to like rip my brain in two, and one ear listen to the bass and one ear listen to the upper part.
Yeah, I feel like it may be a little wider panned than usual. Maybe.
But also, it's just like completely two conflicting lines, like similar syncopated rhythms, but they didn't line up. It's like both the bass rhythm and the upper layered string synth rhythm were both so interesting that I wanted to listen to both of them, but like they weren't happening at the same time, so I like my brain was like, what's going on? Which one can I listen to? That's what happened to me during the chorus.
Okay.
This one also, the texture seemed to repeat throughout a lot, but like also a lot of layers were added in and taken away.
Yeah, I like in the bridge where the trumpet line came in.
Yeah, I was like, no way!
Or I decided eventually it seemed like it was a trumpet and electric guitar together line. Maybe I'm probably missing further details on it, but that was what I was starting to think, because sometimes it was seeming a little bit to have too much point on the sound to be just trumpet. And then I think it may have been really far in the back of the last chorus, and then in the outro it came back. And I was glad they brought that back.
And then last but not least, Uncover.
This was my favorite of the B-side.
Ooh. Why?
They had a really good variety of timbres that were all really well produced, and a nice pacing of like initially just like one or two at a time, so you kind of heard each one, and then a ways into the song, I don't remember what section, but a ways into the song started layering them up. But and also just like the long opening of this sort of just like middle of a piano sound cloud. It's nice. Like Red Velvet does that on occasion, like the long intro, like Body Talk has like half a minute to a minute of just those big, well, not that big, those big, they're just the synth triads. Yeah, fat. Chord.
PHAT.
Where just like, it's quite a long time of those before the voices come in. So I like it's sort of in the opposite direction. Like that's very much like bass, not deep bass, but more bass register, where this was very much high register. But yeah, I really love the production on this. And also the chords were good too.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere that they created with all the sounds, and like wasn't bored at all, because like you said that the chords were really good, and also their use of different samples that they put in and then took out like for transitions. Like sometimes I feel like they use certain samples for transitions and then never use them again, so that like
I feel like I need to listen to it a few times to start even like getting a sense, sort of a catalog of what the sounds used were, because there were a lot of different ones. Like it wasn't just like a couple good synths being put around. Like it was everything. A lot of different sounds, both percussive and presumably, and like edited real sounds, synthetic sounds.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this album several times before I pick a favorite, because all of them were really solid.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone. And reminder, if you're curious about what songs may be reacted to on our Classical Musicians React series, I will pin a comment and put in the description 3 different playlists you can check out of songs that we have a voting panel that are currently voting on, songs that we will react to, and songs that we will not react to. So hopefully those will answer your questions of what songs we will and will not react to in the future. Thanks so much! Woo, bye!